The architects and AV teams aren't necessarily struggling to understand each other, but what they're struggling to do is communicate and set expectations together. So we work, we're obviously working on projects alongside them, but at different timescales, and we're doing things like we're saying it's going to be a screen in the room, but the impact of that screen on the room and the architecture and the build out is really what they need to know. They're not interested in functionality, but we're trying to look at the bigger picture, and it makes it really difficult for us to be able to get the right information to them at the right time. I think that's the key thing. We do speak very, very similar in terms of the construction process and the way that we need to phase design and go through the concept through to detailed design phase. I think the challenge is, as I said, is that actually we are working on different timescales. And that's mainly because we have dependencies on other infrastructure products like the networking, etc. and different teams within the client that may not be part of that project team directly, because it may be the IT director, etc. And so when we're communicating to the architect in the language that we're trying to do, we sometimes have to be vague in that process up until the point that we can actually get to a point where we know what the functionality and therefore the products that we need to specify are going to be. Biggest challenges for us is always user interfaces. It's, how's the neatest way to provide connectivity for a user? There's obviously lots of technologies that have come along for wireless connectivity and other products on that type of presentation sale using UC, etc. But there's still always the need for power and a control surface potentially and various things for users. And those are always the challenge, because it sometimes spans between the architect's realm, maybe a client direct package for furniture, and also how the feel and the look and the flexibility within the room is. And that's always a challenge for us to be able to communicate that. I think the AV consultants or the technology consultants really need to be involved a little bit earlier in that process. I think there's a two-phase piece to that one. The first one is obviously we need to make sure that they are aware up front as to the right time to involve us, and that may not be the same place in every project. I think it's very important that we're a bit more proactive in the information and the way that we work with architects, not necessarily on project specific, but as an industry, as a consultancy industry, making sure that our place is known and that we're providing the tools that they can actually make that judgment as to the right place to bring us into those projects, to be able to enable the right questions and in the vision process for the client. This type of event is absolutely key to the way that we open up that communication, not only through consultancy and architect from the AV point of view, but actually, as I said, as a consultancy forum in terms of AV consultants, we don't get together enough to be able to do that communal message piece out to our other peers that are in the construction phases. And therefore we're not doing that to the client either. I think that's a big piece. One of the key things that I've taken out of today is actually that we really should be putting together a formal way of matching the way that the architects work with a set of deliverables, so that actually the expectations, and it can almost be a shopping list of deliverables, but it can be that everybody can then work to the same type of process. Whether they deliver it in exactly the same way or have their own spin on it, that's absolutely fine. But the key thing is that the team, the design team and the process, the project managers, the architects, the M&E teams, they all need to get down that journey to the point where they can put it out to a construction contractor, and we need to be in that path to actually help that in the same way each time, because we're actually making it harder for ourselves by not creating that message in the right way.